Good morning, everyone. This is Scott, or the Scott Man. We're here to do a driving video today. As you can tell, we are not in Michigan right now because, like the last driving video I just filmed, or wait, actually, I didn't film a video in the snow or anything, but yeah. But anyway, so we're here in Louisiana right now. So this is a video here on Interstate 10, going east from I-49 and Lafayette, Louisiana, heading all the way to Interstate 110 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So we're heading east this time. It's like normally I do all my driving videos on the freeway going west or north, but I figured I'd do one going east this time because toward the end of the video, we'll get a nice view of the skyline for Baton Rouge. So I figure why not conclude things by going across the Mississippi River. But it is a cloudy morning out, and my car thermometer is reading 51 degrees Fahrenheit. Convert that to Celsius, it's around 11 degrees. And yeah, it is a little cooler out today. This is my first driving video I'm filming on this trip. Because yeah, it's like I drove down, I started driving down this way the day after Christmas. So on the 26th, and I stopped overnight in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and then I got down to Louisiana the following day. And I've been spending my time in Baton Rouge and also in Lafayette for the past couple days. Got one more day today in both before I head west toward Texas. So I'm going to Baton Rouge for the morning because there's still more things in the video of my Baton Rouge video I gotta film. And then I come back to the Lafayette area this afternoon. So anyway, weather-wise, until today, it's been very warm, like unseasonably warm and humid, I would say, too. In fact, because I spent my time around the Lafayette area yesterday, and it was, I think it got to 80 degrees yesterday. So it felt like at least it felt like a Michigan summer yesterday here. And a cold front came through last night, and the 51 degrees Fahrenheit, that's pretty much the high temperature today. So for me, it feels great. It still feels pretty great, but obviously for Louisiana standards, it's a little chilly. But it could be a lot worse because back home in Michigan right now, as I'm filming this video, 55 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts for the day with very heavy snow. And, well, snow squalls, I should say. Like, I think supposed to get like 1 to 2 inches, maybe 3 inches of snow today back home. So I'll gladly take this weather down here. And yeah, this is pretty interesting that they have here. Like they got a weigh station for like the trucks up ahead. However, it's like they got drive-through like weighing lanes though for the trucks. So it's like they don't want people to change lanes here. Although probably mostly for the trucks, but usually when you have double white lines, it's not really allowed to cross them. Now we can go ahead and get around. The clouds are supposed to clear up later today, though, so it should get pretty nice. Just chilly, but nice. And it is a little windy out today, so I've been hearing some sounds of the wind coming or brushing against my car a little bit. But it's a nice thing about driving a small car like the Honda Civic is that it doesn't get pushed around by the wind as much as if I was driving an SUV or a sports utility vehicle. Plus, these smaller cars get better gas mileage anyway. So now we're entering the Bro Bridge area, which is along the Bayou Teche, or Tiche. I don't know how you pronounce it. Probably Teche, for all I know. Feel free to let me know in the comments if I'm saying it wrong, so that way I know next time if I'm saying it correctly or not. But yeah, yesterday I did a swamp tour well, not along the bayou, but not far from this area. got to go like on a 90-minute boat, like kind of like a swamp cruise. In the sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, took like a little swamp tour, like in and around the Atchafalaya River Basin, like that whole general area. Like, so that was really cool. Got to see several alligators even too. So I was able to get a few good pictures during that boat tour. Although I feel like I got better ones when I did an airboat ride in the Everglades in southern Florida earlier in 2025. So I did a trip down to over to Miami back in like February. And for where we are right now, we got 44 miles to go until we get to Baton Rouge. But this is all, obviously this is all freeway, so it should be smooth sailing, although there are a lot of trucks out and about today, but so far it hasn't been too bad. So yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, that exit back there, that's for the city of Baton Rouge, which is one of the many communities here in the Acadian region of southern Louisiana, which is basically like Cajun country, which of course the Cajuns are basically people who have origins. Well, a long time ago they came over from France, but they went first over to like eastern Canada, like Atlantic Canada, kind of like where like Nova Scotia and New Brunswick are today. As they settled there, they kind of developed their own culture, different than France. This was like all in the 18th century. But then the eastern part of Canada, like again where Nova Scotia is today and New Brunswick, they came over as a part of like New France. But after the end of the 7 Years' War, or also known as the French and Indian War, the French end up losing to the British. So Britain ended up getting all that part of Canada. So basically, like Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. But the British were allowing the Acadians there to live there as long as they swore allegiance to the United Kingdom. But they basically, long story short, they end up not wanting to do that. So they end up getting banished from Nova Scotia. I remember going to some of the Acadian sites in Nova Scotia when I went there in 2019. So they end up going to many other places, like other British colonies, and a lot of them eventually settled here in Louisiana. And they adapted to the culture around here. And over time, like they eventually became known as Cajuns. So they have a really neat culture here, and of course they have a lot of great food too, because I've had a lot of great food. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit, but so the exit back there, it's like that's for Baton Rouge, and that is, I remember going for lunch yesterday. There was a place called Hebert's Boudin and Cracklin, so I got to have some Boudin balls, kind of made like with especially like Cajun sausage, and mine had like pepper jack cheese stuff in it. It was really, really good. So this exit here, this is where you can go to do some of the swamp tours, like over near like Henderson. And yeah, that's where I ended up going yesterday. So it's like the main exit to go to like to the main Atchafalaya River Basin. And this will be so this is where things will get a little bit more interesting. So it's like the last major exit for a while, because we're about to enter big time swamp country. because we're getting ready to head into the Atchafalaya River Basin. So what we're about to see coming up shortly is, for what I heard on the swamp tour yesterday, the third longest, I don't know, is the third longest interstate bridge in the country or the third longest bridge period when it comes to like for vehicular traffic. We got we got someone who should not be in the left lane right now, because they're going slower than the speed limit right now, but they're picking back up again. But I think the speed limit dips down to 60 miles per hour once we enter this area, so they're probably prepping for that a little bit. Okay, I can get back over now. Because yeah, this is a very cool part of Louisiana because we're going right over the whole swamp area. But yeah, so we got Atchafalaya Basin. So this is the Louisiana Airborne Memorial Bridge. So this is a very long bridge. Again, the third longest in the country. Again, I can't remember if it was just for third longest interstate bridge or third longest bridge for all like vehicles. Because it's essentially a long causeway. And in the swamp tour yesterday, we got to go underneath this bridge. I might even be able to pinpoint approximately where we were in the boat cruise yesterday. It was not here. It was more out in the open compared to this. But I knew I wanted to do a driving video today because of this here, and also seeing the skyline of Baton Rouge toward the end of the video. But yeah, this is a really, really cool area though. It's like it got all these swamps all along in this area. And then here at Henderson Swamp. And you may not be able to see it too well off to the right, but you can see all the different trees, like cypress trees, and even a lot of dead trees that are coming up from the water, which is really cool. I, of course, got to see them up close on the swamp tour yesterday. Yeah, because I'm staying in the Lafayette area. It's like I came across this a couple days ago, but it was in the dark, so I didn't really get to see much. And yeah, right around in this area, this is where our boat cruise went underneath the bridge yesterday. So it's cool to be going in while we're on top of the bridge. In fact, it might even be this right here. If this is Lake Bigot here, and you remember our boat cruise coming back, we went underneath this part of the bridge because I remember seeing that exit sign from the water, so which was pretty cool. So anyway, getting back to Cajun foods, I've had a lot of great Cajun and Creole food over the past couple days, like not only in Baton Rouge but also in Lafayette. So I've had a lot of crawfish for one. Well, not boiled crawfish or anything, but I had a crawfish omelet for breakfast yesterday morning at T-Coons. Which was quite good. And then I also had a crawfish enchiladas for dinner last night at Bone Temp in Lafayette, which was divine. It was very cheesy and very, very good. And then, as I was mentioning, for lunch I had boudin balls. And then when I was in Baton Rouge, I had some crawfish etouffee for dinner. And here's the Atchafalaya River here. So this is the actual river right here. Yeah, this is another cool part. We're going like right in the midst of all the trees, and of course, I got the swamp and marsh areas in here. It definitely makes the drive, if you're going from like Baton Rouge and New Orleans all the way over to Houston, a lot more scenic. Because here in the southern part of the country, especially the southeast, it's not hilly or mountainous or anything like that. So it's a real treat when you get to see like the swamps of like southern Louisiana. Because it's generally flat between here going east all the way toward Jacksonville, Florida, which is where Interstate 10 ends. Yep, 32 miles to Baton Rouge. And then as you go west, then it's generally flat pretty much all the way till you get to Houston, and then eventually to San Antonio. Maybe get a little bit of small rolling hills closer to San Antonio. And then once you go west of San Antonio, then that's when you get to the Texas Hill Country. Then things get a little bit more hilly. And of course, then you start to see some mountains once you get to West Texas on the way out toward like El Paso, like in the direction toward like Big Bend National Park. And then, yeah, again, because I'm saying Lafayette, it's like I'll be going right back the opposite direction off camera later today. And then, so I'll be having more Cajun and Creole food today, because I leave for Texas tomorrow, so gotta enjoy the Cajun and Creole food as much as I can. So I'm probably gonna have a po' boy for lunch today, and then for dinner, it's like I want to go to I forgot the name of the restaurant. It's another local spot in Lafayette. It's another Cajun restaurant where I'm planning. I've not tried alligator bites before, and I've heard they're supposed to be really good. So I might try those for dinner tonight. Maybe get some gumbo. Let's just say, here in southern Louisiana, you eat well here. So remember when I did a day trip to New Orleans 3 years ago, when I was staying in Gulfport, Mississippi, I ate really well there too. I had like I had a shrimp po' boy, and also had a crawfish pie. Yep, lots of good food here. So like with me being here in Louisiana for like 2 to 3 days, like this is my second visit to Louisiana, I would say. Because the first one I did was just a day trip to New Orleans, which, yeah, New Orleans, you have to go to New Orleans at least once. Like, it is very, very busy there because it's a lot of tourists from all over go there. It's the most popular place in all of Louisiana, but it's worth it, though, because you got great food and a great time, although Bourbon Street can get very chaotic later in the day. So, like, if you want to check out the cool scenes on Bourbon Street, it's like go early. Because late at night it just gets crazy. But thankfully there's other areas in New Orleans too that aren't as crazy as Bourbon Street, which you can go to enjoy the nightlife. So this is the Whiskey Bay Pilot Channel here. Heck, it looks even larger than the Atchafalaya River itself. Got the exit for Whiskey Bay here, and then we got the continuation of the causeway over here. Because you even see, for a moment, you can even see water in the median, because we're going right over another area of water here. In fact, we might all have to get over to the left lane because we got someone pulled over up ahead. Because as I noted, the speed limit on this causeway is only 60 miles per hour. I think they do that more for like environmental reasons. Where the rest of the freeway, like outside the whole Atchafalaya River Basin, like with the causeway, it's 70 miles per hour. Oh, even seeing some sprinkles right now. It's like, so I think it rained last night, but as a part of the cold front, but not too many though. But thankfully, a lot of the sites I'm seeing this morning back in Baton Rouge are indoors, which is nice because it is chilly out today. So let's just say if I have alligator bites tonight and then some gumbo, the gumbo will warm me up. So anyway, getting back to this trip. So yeah, so the previous trip, I just did like a day trip to New Orleans, but I need to go back at some point to see more of it. But for the one day I did spend there, it was fantastic. So on this trip, it's like I've mainly been going to Baton Rouge and also Lafayette and even some surrounding communities too. Like I even went to St. Martinville yesterday, and that town is gorgeous. Like I really enjoyed the downtown area. They got the beautiful like Catholic church right there, which is really beautiful to see. They even have like an Acadian mural there too, which is worth checking out. But yeah, definitely enjoy Lafayette. Like, really like the downtown area. It's like, it's definitely felt a lot calmer compared to New Orleans. But yeah, so yeah, when checking out Louisiana, especially the southern part of the state, there is more to Louisiana than just New Orleans. Again, New Orleans is totally worth visiting. You have to go at least once, but with the videos I'm doing for Baton Rouge and the Lafayette area, it's basically, it's a way to show you that there's more to Louisiana than New Orleans. Because you have to go on a swamp tour at least once. You got to enjoy a bunch of Cajun and Creole food. You got to go to some of the smaller communities. Because if you only go to New Orleans and not go to Lafayette or any of the other spots, you're missing out on a spectacular culture down here. But yeah, so definitely been enjoying my time down here. It's like I'm on this road trip. It's like I'm again spending more time in Texas. There's a lot of things in Texas I really enjoy seeing. I'll be back in Houston again. I'm also going to San Antonio this time, which I've been to San Antonio before, but I'm definitely going back again. Because again, Texas is like a second home to me, but I didn't want to just do Texas this time. I wanted to do a little bit more. So I figure why not stop in Louisiana for a little bit. In fact, there are more places in the southern United States I would like to visit too. Like there's stuff in Arkansas, like there's Little Rock for one, and of course then go over to like where Hot Springs National Park is. And of course you got the mountains in the northwest part of the state. And heck, even Louisiana, there's some more cool stuff too. Like definitely need to check out Natchitoches, Louisiana, which is I think the oldest settlement, or the oldest city in Louisiana, and that's going north along Interstate 49, heading up towards Shreveport. And of course, check out some things in Mississippi. Alabama, I've gotten to see quite a bit already, as I did a trip 3 years ago where I got to go to. I haven't really seen Birmingham yet. But I went to Mobile, I went to Montgomery, went to Tuscaloosa. Also wouldn't mind checking out Huntsville as well too. And of course, and then Georgia, I've been to Atlanta and also to Savannah. But then of course there's more Florida I need to go see as well too. As in Florida, I've got to see St. Augustine, Daytona Beach, Orlando, although I've not filmed the video in Orlando because I had to go to Orlando for work, so I didn't really get to see a whole lot there. But I've also been to Tampa, Fort Myers, Miami. And heck, I need to see more of the Carolinas too, because I've only been to Charleston and Myrtle Beach. I've also been to Beaufort, South Carolina. And then North Carolina, I need to see more of too, because I've only driven through North Carolina. So I need to check out Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Durham, that area, Charlotte, the Outer Banks, and then also go up in the mountains over toward Asheville, going toward Great Smoky Mountains National Park. We have reached the end of the causeway, so we're now getting out of the Atchafalaya River Basin. Because now we're back on solid ground again. In fact, the speed limit should be increasing again soon, too. And heck, I need to do some more things inland, too. I need to get into Memphis as well, too. Yep, the speed limit is going back up to 70 miles per hour. And for where we are now, 19 miles to Baton Rouge, 3 miles to Grosse Tete, or Tet, or... Yeah, pardon my pronunciation, my friends. But anyway, it's yeah, I know, Memphis gets a bad rep because they have very high crime rates, but again, in the tourist areas, it's generally pretty safe, downtown, areas in downtown Memphis, especially going by where the Peabody Hotel is, or of course checking out Graceland, which of course was the home of Elvis Presley. I've heard the area near Graceland's not supposed to be the greatest, but Graceland itself is supposed to be nice to visit. And of course, Beale Street in Memphis is a good time too. So I've been to Nashville before too, and wouldn't mind getting back to Nashville at some point. And then there's more areas in Kentucky to go see too. There's some really nice parks in Kentucky. And I wouldn't mind even seeing more of Louisville too, because I've only did like a quick evening in Louisville. Although, yeah, like Louisville, Kentucky, that's where you're starting to get out of the South and getting more toward like the Midwest, because it's right on the Ohio River. But yeah, there's a lot more of the United States I need to go see. Like in the southern part of the United States, more like along the East Coast, going up to the Northeast. More areas in the Midwest I need to see, and there's a lot more stuff out in the western part of the U.S. Like one park I'd love to go to would be like Grand Teton National Park out in Wyoming. The scenery is just incredible out there. Like there are a lot of beautiful national parks out there, like Grand Teton. There's Yellowstone, and of course go up to Montana, go up to Glacier National Park. It's like I could do like a 2-week trip out that way just to go see the national parks. And heck, if I'd add an extra week, go up into Canada, because there's an extension of Glacier National Park going up into Alberta. I forgot the name of the park that's up on the Canadian side. That's an extension of Glacier National Park. And then, of course, continue your way back up toward Banff. And this is the exit for Gross Tate or Gross Teat. Again, part of the pronunciation, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. So yeah, I do apologize about that. So you can tell I'm not from here. But yeah, it's like I'm talking about the future. It's like I gotta stay in the present. So it's like this trip we're focusing on Baton Rouge and Lafayette and the surrounding area. And only 15 miles to go till we get to Baton Rouge. And yeah, when I'm in Texas too, I need to film a few more driving videos as well too. Because most of my driving videos are in Michigan, and heck, lately I've been filming a lot of like roads in like the Metro Detroit area. But we need to change things up every once in a while. So I figure show some more freeways while we're at it too. And we're slowly starting to get into the Baton Rouge area somewhat, because we're now entering West Baton Rouge Parish. Which, if you didn't know, is like the separate like entities within each U.S. state. They're called counties. In Louisiana, it's a little different. Instead of counties, they're parishes. So, like we're in West Baton Rouge Parish right now. So it's kind of like the equivalent of a county. So, like if this was in like Mississippi, for example, this would be like West Baton Rouge County, but in Louisiana it's a parish. But it was really fascinating too, not so much when I was in Baton Rouge, but more so in Lafayette and different communities around that area, especially going to some of the museums. It was really cool to see bilingual signs with English but French instead of Spanish, because I know a lot of times you go to different places where it can be bilingual, you'll see signs in English and Spanish, but in Louisiana I've been seeing signs in English and French. So it's one thing you don't really see much of. Where I would say like in southern Louisiana, it's like It's the only other place in North America outside of Canada where you'll see signs in English and French. Although, yeah, primarily like in the heart of Cajun country or Acadiana. But yeah, I am glad the traffic is not all that heavy this morning, even for a Monday morning. Of course, it is still like the holiday season. This is between Christmas and New Year's. So like even when we get into Baton Rouge, of course, by the time we get into Baton Rouge, it's going to be after 9 o'clock. So it's not going to be too crazy because a lot of people are out for the holidays. To where they'll either start back to work the Friday after New Year's Day or more likely like next week on the 5th. Get over, got truck on the side of the road. Going over another bayou there. That one didn't have a name to it though, or well, there probably is, but they didn't have a sign for it. Vehicle looked like it was slowing down a little bit, so I need to get back over. Oh, loose gravel. So I'm probably glad I got over this lane anyway, so that way you don't have to, because I don't want loose gravel getting on this windshield. Because with this car, I've had this windshield replaced twice now. Not so much from these road trips, but more so from, new pavement, so we may not have to worry about loose gravel after all here. But usually it's like, just because I get so many rocks sent over toward my windshield when I'm driving more, not so much on these road trips, but mainly when I'm back home in Michigan. And they usually happen when I'm on my way to work. So I had my windshield replaced the second time earlier this year because I ended up having a big chip in the windshield on the right side. I didn't get it replaced right away because it's expensive to get a windshield replacement, and with the previous car insurance I had, if I would have gotten my windshield replaced and used insurance, my rates would have gone up, which is ridiculous because car insurance rates in Michigan are some of the highest in the entire country. So it's like they're practically stealing from you up there. So I knew, so I didn't want, because I didn't want my rates to go up, I ended up paying out of pocket, and it was quite expensive. But I had to get the windshield replaced though, just because the big chip in the windshield there was a big crack going across the windshield. For a while it stopped to where it didn't even get close to the driver's half of the windshield, but eventually it started to do so, and then I could tell that if I didn't take care of it sooner, or then it was going to eventually start coming over to my side of the windshield, to where, let's just say, like, you'd be able to see it from where my camera is mounted to the dashboard. So, but luckily, I'm glad I waited as late as I did, because I ended up getting several more big nicks in the windshield, even not any that would crack or anything, but that left a crack in the windshield, but still they're very noticeable. And which is usually why it's like if you get a nick in the windshield or a big crack in the windshield, it's like unless it's obstructing your view, it's like a lot of times it's not worth it to get it replaced after every incident just to save money. Although if you're planning to use your insurance to pay for it, that's where it might be different, where you might want to file a claim rather quickly to get it replaced. Because I feel like if you wait too long, they probably be like, you should have gone in sooner. And then they'll find all the reason not to cover you for it. So I guess if you're paying for insurance, I mean if you're covering a windshield replacement with insurance, that's probably where you might want to do it sooner. But if you're planning to pay out of pocket, then you can wait as long as you can, unless it's becoming an obstruction to your view. Oh, I can finally see. I can see the state capitol building for Baton Rouge already. It's covered up by some trees right now, but the fun fact is that it is the tallest state capitol building in the United States. So we're in the Port Allen area right now. It's like the west side of Baton Rouge. Because we're starting to get into the city itself now. And yeah, for this exit coming up here, you got the port of Baton Rouge. It's like the main port for Baton Rouge is on the west side of the Mississippi River. And of course the Mississippi River continues south toward New Orleans and eventually empties out into the Gulf of Mexico, south of New Orleans. And this is the last exit on the west side of the Mississippi River, because now we're about to get on the bridge to go across the Mississippi River. And I guess we're not going to get as good of a view of the city as I thought, but oh well. So I figured it'd be a nice way to conclude the video. So this is the Horace Wilkinson Bridge, and we're just about to go over the Mississippi River now, and also we're entering East Baton Rouge Parish. And yeah, it's like there's always heavy traffic coming across the eastern direction or the eastbound lanes of the bridge. And you can't really see it from the camera, but you can see Baton Rouge or off to the left. So stay in the left lane here. This will become Interstate 110, which goes north through Baton Rouge, going to the northern parts of the city. And then this exit off to the right, that's the way you can go into downtown, or one of the ways you can get into downtown. You can even navigate south toward the campus for Louisiana State University, or LSU, And then the right 2 lanes up here, that's to continue east on Interstate 10 and eventually get over to Interstate 12, which will take you over to Hammond, Louisiana. And it serves as a bypass of New Orleans, where Interstate 10 will take you directly into New Orleans. And I'm glad I'm going north on 110, so less traffic on in this lane. All right, so we have driven Interstate 10 going east from Interstate 49 near Lafayette, going all the way over to Interstate 110 here in Baton Rouge. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that like button. Don't forget to click that subscribe button so that we don't miss any future adventures. Well, thank you for watching, and this is Scott, or the Scott Man, signing out.